but his back has played up very late in the day, so Lee Dixon is in. It means that Oleg Luzhny resumes at centre-half, not necessarily where the Ukrainians will recognise him. Patrick Vieira leaves behind his domestic suspension. Messrs Henry and Canu sat out most of Saturday's game with tonight's in mind. Now you'll learn about these names as we go along, starting perhaps with 4 Timoshuk, 5 Popov and 11 Vorobyev, all of whom played for the Ukraine at Wembley in May. It's a 3-5-2 formation, including 2 Russians, Bakarev and Abramov, a Lithuanian, the sweeper Glevetskas, and the rest homegrown. The front 2 there, Atelkin and Vorobyev, have both scored European hat-tricks this season. Dennis Bergkamp and Sylvain Wiltord wait on Arsenal's bench. Arsene Wenger is now in that prized position of being able to juggle 4 top strikers. The Gunners' game in Prague last week was cardless and really well officiated by a Frenchman. Tonight we have a German referee, Hartmut Stramper, starting his 2nd Champions League season. Now Ron's fresh from Leeds' swashbuckling effort last night. See if you can pick tonight's heroes, Ron.
Well, I think from Arsenal's point of view, I think they'll be looking towards Robert Pires. How do we replace Overmars, everybody said, and Petit? They've replaced him. I think they've got a 2-in-1 player here. I think this fella, and I see Arsene Wenger's being quoted, will become one of the real leading lights in the next few years for Arsenal. And of course, in the opposition, Vorobyev learnt his trade. He's played alongside the great Shevchenko and Rebrov. Looks sharp in the little clips we saw beforehand. He's somebody that will have to keep a tight rein on.
Well, you can get 1,000 to 1 on Shakhtar Donetsk to win the Champions League. To bring that home, Scunthorpe are the same odds for the FA Cup. There is an innate danger in assuming an Arsenal win here, but it's fair to say that this is a must-win if they are at last to progress into the 2nd phase of a competition which has so far proved just too complex for them. This is Abramov, who will operate down the left-hand side. Plenty of width in the Shakhtar lineup. And David Seaman, 37 yesterday, behind a back four mildly disrupted by the absence again of Tony Adams, because of which Oleg Luzhny there, the most experienced European club player, is into central defence. There he is, Luzhny, a Dynamo Kiev player, of course, before he came to London, and therefore a sworn enemy of those from Donetsk. There is a great regional rivalry. The footballing political climate in Ukraine is one that leads to jealousy of Kiev.
I think whenever you see Ukrainian football beat the national team, Kiev, and even the early impressions here from Shakhtar, they do like to play in the other half of the field.
Raimondi had stolen it. Popov, the skipper, was the tackler. One of those who you saw at Wembley before Euro 2000, and often the only non-Dynamo Kiev player in the national team. It was his tardy tackle. It's Ljungberg, whose hair has all been shaven. With the delivery, the goalkeeper is Yuri Wirtz, another international. Silvino gave the boost to Arsene Wenger's European campaign at the start of it all in Prague last week, and the Arsenal manager has made it clear that tonight, in his words, he wants to take out the accumulated frustration of 2 years. The flag is up against Henry, who'd skipped ahead of the back three a yard and a half early.
Just about to make the point there, Peter. Henry will love this. I think he's just fractionally offside, but he'll love the amount of space those defenders are leaving. They're playing 3 at the back, and they don't look as if the two wider central defenders are going to be man-to-man markers. They look as if they're going to occupy zones, but it's the space at the back, I think, that will attract Henry with his pace.
Abramov, faced by Dixon. Abramov whipping to the near post. Vieira tidying up as he does so well. Such a shield for the Arsenal back four. In again by Shevchuk, but with too much on it. Shevchuk, 14 there, summer signing from Donetsk's neighbours, Metallurg. Another name which lends itself to the industry that prevails in their part of the world. That's Timoshuk, small man, getting up well in the middle third. Grimandi's nod down. Timoshuk stabbing it away from him and seeking out Vorobyev for the first time on the evening.
Yeah, the number 4 Timoshuk and the number 5 Popov will play more or less like central anchormen just in front of the back three. Enables the 2 wing backs, Abramov on this side, Zubov on the other side, to push on as much as possible. They look as if they want to play a very much an attacking game.
Dixon's header out, Grimandi down. Ljungberg without any hair these days. See last night that all the Dynamo Kiev players shaved their hair off before the Manchester United game. Kanu tried to get around Shevchuk, who was grabbing onto the Nigerian's midriff. Vieira. Silvinho.
I spoke about Pires before the game, you know, and I think one of the big things Pires has done, he plays not always right against the line, he tucks in, and I think that's allowed Silvinho to have as much success as he's had. He's been far more effective from an attacking point of view.
Kanu for Ljungberg. And against Glevetskas, the Lithuanian down inadvertently onto the newly bald pate, and out for a Shakhtar ball. Here by Shevchuk. Brought down by Pires. Flavour of the month at Highbury, a surger at defences now. Exchanged passes with Henry. Partial clearance for Ljungberg, who has Dixon going outside of him, Kanu in front of him. And Kanu to the near post, down to which Virt plunged necessarily. Kanu still to score this season for Arsenal.
What a lovely blend they've got, Arsenal, up front though, with Kanu and Henry. There we see Kanu, lovely little flip, loves the ball, loves being close in on the penalty area, loves to do a trick in the box, and almost produced the first goal there for Arsenal.
Silvinho to the first man at the near post, but he's going to get a second try. And this time he's gone beyond Vieira at the far post with a left foot which proved so magical a wand in the Czech Republic 8 days ago. His scoring rate has been prodigious for a fullback, and he, by all accounts, is such a likeable chap too. The life and soul, very modest. Zubov, Popov, Vieira tackle, Kanu profiting. Vieira for Henry, who's pulled away wide. Grimandi's waiting in the box. If Henry can deliver, he's denied the chance so to do by the recovery tackle of Storostiak.
And that was a blinding piece of defending by the number 2 Storostiak. It looked for all the world then as Henry was past the last man with bodies. Grimandi was hitting the box. Ljungberg was flying into the box, and you think, go on, release it across the face, and there's a shot on goal, there's a scoring chance. But he's just done enough to make him overbalanced there, Storostiak.
Storostiak there, laid into the Shakhtar side. It's actually Oleg Luzhny's understudy at right back in the international side. Kanu couldn't gather, but it came back for Grimandi, who's played it early, and the flag was very, very late going up.
Got a feeling this could have been Robert Pires, you know. He'd occupied a central position. He'd gone very, very early for the through ball. I think I would just about give the linesman maybe the benefit. I don't think Henry was off. Now the question is, was he interfering? But I think that must be looking great for Arsenal, that little bit of space at the back.
They've gone towards Vorobyev. Abramov came to get it. Grimandi is protecting the penalty area. This is Timoshuk. Out by Silvinho. In for Kanu. Flicked on for Ljungberg. The keeper got hands on it without holding on, but it was another wonderfully mercurial touch from Kanu. And at the other side, Telkin is offside.
He seems to be able to create things out of nothing, though, Kanu. So there's a crowd scene around him. Where can he go? Where can he go? And he holds. Sees Ljungberg going to run a little threaded ball. And the keeper does about as much as he can do there to just flip it out.
Elsewhere in the Champions League tonight, good British news from Group D. It is Monaco 0, Rangers 1, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Up by Vieira for Kanu. He even took out Henry. He tried to feed Pires. He is Robert Lynn, the Nigerian, tonight. And the eventual shot was from Henry.
Early signs are terrific, aren't they? There he goes again. Henry tries to get a shot and go while the keeper's blind. Pity he couldn't have just got a little bit more zip on it. Great pace about the game, great tempo, some fast passing. And we were talking, weren't we, before the game to the referee about the pitch. The pitch is absolutely superb. One thing they won't miss about Wembley, they talk about a lot of things, and Wembley's always had a great reputation. This is arguably certainly one of the best pitches I've seen.
As Stramper said, it's the best he's ever seen, and he's been on a few. This is Vieira trying to trundle through, running into Popov, who is shown a yellow card.
Yeah, it's about his third offence already, Popov. He made sure that the big man wasn't going to go through here.
Oh, and the foot was very high, and the ball was out of picture. And that is his second yellow card of the competition. Of course, they went through 2 qualifying rounds. He needs one more for a suspension. Pires with the free kick, aimed at Grimondi, headed away by Shevchuk. Vieira has gone wide. Silvinho is behind him, but near halfway. So Vieira had to invent a new trick, which was just too complex for his intended tackler.
Funny how life works for you sometimes. I mean, Vieira's out of the league action through suspensions. Most of us think a little bit unjustified. He's fresh, and you know he'll have a great, enormous appetite for this.
Wasted free kick by Henry. Yes, Henry wide with the free kick. But Arsene Wenger has made that point, Ron, how grateful he is to have Patrick Vieira in this slightly perverse scenario, whereby, although he's hugely missed in the Premiership, he is the one fresh, quality, first-team must-pick player who he can rely on Champions League Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
You have to say, I don't know a side in the world who wouldn't get in.
Vieira, Grimondi, Dixon is pumping up the right flank. Ljungberg was going through the middle but couldn't take it in his stride. And Shevchuk can clear his lines. This is Timoshuk. Abramov is going wide of it. Vorobier has pulled away, far side of the penalty area. That's a Telkin.
That's a close one as well. I don't think Silvinho knew too much about that. That was a beautiful pass from Timoshuk. He's threading it over his head, and this is close. Once again, just about got it right, the officials. But they're certainly bright enough when they come forward, Shakhtar.
Well, in a Telkin there and Vorobier, Shakhtar have something that even Manchester United and Andy Cole can't provide, and that is 2 players with a European hat-trick this season. Albeit that those hat-tricks, in fairness, came home and away against the champions of Estonia in the second qualifying round. Perez let it go for Silvinho. Shevchuk cleared, Dixon down. Abramov, Popov, Timoshuk. Ljungberg in, Grimondi further forward. Henry with Pires one way, Kanu the other. It's Pires into the box. It's Robert Pires for Arsenal. The keeper got a key touch. Still the break is Gunnar Stark, and this time because of Yuri Wirtz. who might not look too tidy off his line here, but he did what was required of him.
What a ball inside the defender there from Henry. Great pace. Pires latches onto it. Should have lifted him over it. Fair save by Yuri Verd. Pires should really put him in the lead.
Silvinho's caught a Canu there. And a white-shirted touch on the line as well. Noise for the first time on the night. It's been quite almost reverential up to this point, the return of top-level European club football to this ground, but they're getting behind Arsenal now at the clock end. Silvinho whipping it in. Canu going up with the keeper and clearing the crossbar. Hasn't scored in 7 appearances this season.
Got a feeling he might have done here, though. I mean, he is right up there. Keeper's put him under some pressure, but he's got enough to get a purchase on the ball there. And probably that would have been a great opportunity for him to open his account. What's been very apparent in the opening stages from Arsenal's point of view as well, you know, is both the wide men are coming in and making little diagonal darting runs. Ljungberg's done it a couple of times, nearly got in. Pires has just done it when he should have scored. And it looks as if Arsenal have decided that the 3 defenders at the back are going to be occupied sometimes by as many as 4 attackers going at them.
What you can say is that Arsenal have got behind Shakhtar Donetsk within the first quarter of an hour of the game many more times than Lazio did in the Ukraine a week ago. Here's Canu. Up by Shevchuk. And back by Silvinho.
And the evidence of what I've seen as well, Peter, you talk about them being rank outsiders, Shakhtar. They certainly have. Oh, that's a very close one again. It just went. Arsenal have always been the masters at stepping up, but that one was very, very close indeed. From what I've seen, they are certainly a far better side than both Sturmgras, who I saw play last week, and more impressive than Anderlecht, who, you know, had a very good win last night. Looked very compact, very good as a team organisation.
David Seaman's determined to cling on to the ponytail. He's written recently that he did it for the Arsenal fans in case they were missing Manu Petit.
I think they'll be more interested if he clings onto the ball. That's what counts.
Well, in truth, it's all supposed to be about keeping the hair out of his eyes. And he says now he's turned 37, he needs to cling on to as much hair as he can. There's one who's losing his at 33, I understand that.
You'd look great in the ponytail.
You wouldn't.
I did.
Telkin's flick, and Zubov had a go. Darting in from the right flank. He's only 5'4". He's a wriggly little player, gets between defenders, and did so then in a way that might have worried Arsenal.
Yeah, a little bit of uncertainty. The first ball through the air is missed by Lushny. The two other defenders, Keown and Silvinho, don't clean it out. And Zubov has a reasonable chance that he's always stretching for it. But once again, it shows the little threat they've got.
There's Viktor Prokopenko, the 55-year-old coach of Shakhtar. Pires. Silvinho. Vieira. Pires, nice. Grimondi. Good, sharp, pacey passing from Arsenal. Dixon.
There's that
nice idea.
There's that little run off the flank again, that little diagonal. Pires being naturally right-footed player, will come in a lot on his right foot off the left wing.
Ljungberg, Canu. Just left his man, Donetskas. So bemused. Zubov. Vieira. Ljungberg. And Vitt well off his line, more solidly that time. Good save. Freddie Ljungberg, this is the second anniversary of his Arsenal debut when he scored at that end as a substitute against Manchester United. Henry. Grimondi. Silvinho, forward as ever, and taking on Timoshuk. And winning a corner.
The last example there a few moments ago when Ljungberg got in was once again that little threaded ball through the last line of defence with a darting diagonal run on the end of it. And to be fair, he was going away from him a little bit, Ljungberg, on his left side, and but the keeper's cleaned it out brilliantly.
4 corners to none in Arsenal's favour, without a goal so far. Pires. Keown came in and did well just to palm it, albeit in unorthodox fashion, away from Martin Keown, who is now away from his station as Bakarev hits it long, and wasn't Luzhny covering well. Silvinho, such confidence, and through for Kanu. Tackle from Popov, on by Vieira. Look at the space here. Pires. Out by Shevchuk. Arsenal are playing as though they had 2 extra men right now. Dixon. Kanu. Kanu! Only he would think of that. An inventor of angles and ideas, Kanu.
I tell you what, that was par for the course, wasn't it? Just before he goes back on his left foot, shapes as if to cross it, and very seldom does he ever do the obvious. Cuts back in, desperately unlucky with that effort.
Actually, the Ukrainians do have a Nigerian of their own, Isaac Okoronkwo, who, unlike Kanu, is in Sydney for the Olympic Games, a defender. By the way, Martin Keown, in going up for that header from the most recent Pires corner, I think clashed with a goalkeeper and has been limping for the minute or so that has elapsed since. No Tony Adams for Arsene Wenger tonight, a problem for him. Nelson Vivas on the bench as a potential defender, though hardly a centre-half.
I think Grimaldi would do that job, wouldn't he? Grimaldi would be in there, possibly, and depends how fit Ray Parlour was, I would guess.
And you think about England as well, with Sol Campbell's problem at Brentford last night. No Campbell, no Adams maybe. What if there was no Keown? Opportunity knocks. I understand Germany are coming to Wembley in a week or two. And Gary Lewin will have his England hat on that night, the Arsenal physiotherapist. I would have thought, Ron, that your call's the right one. Arsene Wenger would think about sticking Grimaldi back to centre back.
I think you want him on first, though, won't he? You'll want to see with Keown. I mean, Keown is a tough cookie, Keown. He's had injuries, cuts about the eyes and things like that, but it has to be something pretty severe for him to go off in a match of this magnitude.
Player really appreciated by the supporters, and the only player until now who has played every minute of Arsenal's season so far. Grimaldi has slipped back into Keown's role. Arsenal, for the time being, down to 10. Grimaldi, Vieira, Pires, keep ball is the sage way of going about things for Arsenal. Silvinho was clattered by a Telkin. Late-ish. Foul against Henry as 2 players went up for the same ball. This time it was Starostiak. Keown, of course, is not available to go forward. Kanu represents height. Henry in there as well. Arsenal approaching the set piece with a certain conservatism. Silvinho delivers it. Popov unchallenged heads it away.
But to make this point now, you know, they're one of the few sides. You don't see this much in football or modern football. Whenever there's a set play against them, Shakhtar leave both their strikers stay up the field. You know, even on the last corner on that free kick,
He's a tough cookie, Martin Keown.
Yeah, he's back. But just to make a little point, what they are trying to do is make sure Arsenal don't overload in the box.
Perez. Dixon. Kanu was climbing and was climbed upon by Starostiak.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, he's not for a big man. You wouldn't put him down as an all-time great in the air, but he's so big that if you jump in against him, it's very hard to get at the ball without fouling him.
And he will pose a problem for Viet. Keown has stayed back again. Silvino over it. Henry with whip. Oh, decent crack and a rattle of the crossbar.
Silvino takes the dummy run, puts the full bend on it. Keeper's beaten. Unfortunately, the bar's not.
Well, until relatively recently, that would have been Dennis Bergkamp's preserve. Those are big boots to fill, but Thierry Henry is not half filling them right now. All flicked through for Vorobier, who went down under Luzhny's challenge, which was open to interpretation. It would have been a brave referee who decided that Luzhny was the last man.
It also looked accidental, or even the way he's held his arm looks accidental. But that was a danger. Those two, I think, they haven't had a lot of play, the two front players, Telkin and Vorobier, but they do give you the impression that they're sharp and lively, and given half a chance might be a threat.
And what they do practice a lot, they did before the Lazio game and they did last night, is shots from distance. And here is one such from Bakarev, and it has got a deflection, and it has gone in, and with their first shot of the game, Shakhtar Donetsk have defeated David Seaman and have taken a lead which has silenced Highbury.
Oh, it's taken a massive deflection there off Robert Pires. I mean, he's actually, where you'd be unhappy about that is it's hit Pires virtually on the back.
Well, that is a fearful bad luck blow for Arsenal. Bakarev hit the free kick truly enough.
It wasn't a right rocket though, was it? It was something that I'd have been happier with Pires if he'd have just stood square on, and even if he hits him full on, it doesn't deflect like that.
Well, this was not planned. Oh, clever from Silvino. Henry. In towards Kanu. Shakhtar have their first ever Champions League goal. They have something to cling on to now.
Yeah, from Arsenal's point of view, the beauty is they haven't got to have that sudden panic about away goals and such like as that. Okay, in the knockout stages, that could have been a far worse goal for them.
Prokopenko has had great nights in this country before. Ljungberg's ball in. Header out by Timoshuk. Bakarev, the goal scorer. Abramov. A Telkin near post. Vorobier far post. It's come to him, and he belted against Dixon's back.
So they are set. The two up front are very, very sharp and lively, and as soon as the ball's in midfield, they're spinning and making little spin runs on defenders.
Vorobier's ball in. Steven Kebikada. Bakarev. Keown read it. Vieira helped it on. Kanu has it now. Popov with the tackle. Vieira wants it back and was prepared to trample all before him in search of it. Timoshuk nibbled away at Vieira's ankles. It's an Arsenal free kick. Silvino. Henry. Pires to the byline. Pires with the cross, and Veer plunges at his near post. Robert Pires, whose desperate misfortune it was to have the ball cannoned off him when Bakarev hit the free kick a short while back. On by Timoshuk. Keown won it. Abramov.
All of a sudden there's a new spring in their step, isn't it?
Shevchuk. It's a good ball in. It's Vorobye. It's 2-0 Shakhtar. It's a scenario that Arsenal would not have contemplated in their worst nightmare.
Well, since the goal, their tempo's been fantastic, and the slickness of this pass. Vorobye's got plenty to do still, but he's just lifted it over seam. Lovely little layoff by his fellow striker, Atelkin, and he shapes, and I think there's a little bit of disguise in that. But the move that led up to it, the sharpness of it, look how bright the movement, the awareness, the liveliness, and in the space of 2 minutes, is it, or something like, the game's virtually been stood on its head.
Well, you just did not consider this, really, as a genuine possibility. This was supposed to be the Highbury homecoming, the happy Highbury homecoming. Bakarev. Atelkin.
He's causing all sorts of problems, Bakarev. He's playing in that little position behind the two strikers. Two strikers are making great runs, and they haven't, maybe because they were doing most of the attacking, Arsenal. They maybe got a little bit slack and thought, all right, it's basically about when we score, not them. But I said to you earlier, these are a better side than one or two I've seen in the tournament.
What they didn't do against Lazio last week really was get behind that famed Italian back four. They had plenty of cracks from distance, but the fact that Vorobye got in the way he did then ought to be a cause for genuine alarm in the Arsenal dressing room. And there's more danger now with Atelkin. Keown got in there just, and Seaman will be hurried here by Atelkin, and Zubov will impart some more pressure, and Silvinho was harried and hassled there. And there's no doubt about it, Arsenal are up against it big time here.
Well, they've got right under the front foot now, Shakhtar. They're getting to it very, very quickly. I think whether they lulled Arsenal a little bit and let Arsenal dominate the pace, and they've gone up 2 or 3 gears.
Vieira, he's got more gears. Ljungberg must get one before half-time now. Dixon. Kanu. Kanu. Oh, clever. More than clever. Henry. Grimondi. Silvinho. Kanu. Silvinho's kept on going. Out by Popov, the skipper. In again by Luzhny. Flags up.
Silvinho coming back. I don't think either of the two strikers were offside that time. Silvinho was so far offside, trying to get back. That would have them on, but Silvinho's a mile back area, just coming into picture now.
Sylvain Wiltord is on the point of coming on for Arsenal. Meantime, they have defending to do. The shot is Zubov's. Vieira. Henry. Ljungberg. I'm learning that Robert Pires has gone off for Arsenal, and that Wiltord is going to replace him. An ankle injury.
Yeah, I was trying to figure quite if it was a tactical move, how he was going to keep a reasonable shape, Arsene Wenger, but that explains it.
I think there's a chance Henry will go wide.
Yeah.
Keown. Dixon. Kanu. And here comes Sylvain Wiltord. Scored his first Arsenal goal at the weekend against Coventry, his first since the final of Euro 2000, of course. And how Arsene Wenger could do with one from him now. Luzhny. Wiltor, bright as a button. Henry. Goretzkas covering. Zubov. As far only as Silvinho. Vieira. Stepped into Bakarev. Keown away from Atelkin. Abramov goes up. Suddenly it's the Ukrainians who are tending to win the 50-50s. It's Arsenal's throw.
You think, I know it's hard in the heat of battle, you're 2-0 down, but I just wonder whether they should get a message onto Grimaldi and say, you get hold of this Bakarev and start man-to-man marking, because most of the good work's emanating through him now.
Best part of an hour left in the game, but real urgency now necessary from Arsenal. Shevchuk away from Kanu. Now then, another bunch of Champions League matches next Tuesday and Wednesday on ITV. Highlights Tuesday at 10, two potentially newsworthy games. Manchester United in Eindhoven against PSV. Leeds have Turkish visitors Besiktas. And then on Wednesday, our live offering 7:30, Des and the boys back here at Highbury. This group's glamour game, Arsenal against Lazio. In Scotland, you get Rangers in Istanbul. And before that, on Sunday, Formula One, the US Grand Prix from Indianapolis. Full race coverage on ITV at 10:45. Before that, live coverage, ITV2 from 6 o'clock. All ahead on ITV this coming week. Abramov. Exchange of passes with Vorobye. A little dart to earth in the box from Abramov. Lee Dixon didn't appreciate it.
It looks as if Arsenal are trying, I thought for a minute they were going to try and balance it off in midfield. There's that, they're looking to turn balls in. Arsenal had a lot of joy early on with playing balls between defenders. They're trying to do it. They got the second goal by it. I thought for a minute Freddie Ljungberg, oh, that's a beautiful little touch. He's just going to go in and narrow it down in midfield. Oh, the indirect for a back pass. He's termed it intentional.
Now, is that the lucky break that Arsenal wanted? An indirect free kick within spitting distance of the 6-yard box. Now, these situations, we all know, are always harum-scarum, unpredictable. Saw Davor Suker on this ground belt one in for Arsenal against Aston Villa last Premiership season. In just this sort of situation, you need someone with that sort of bullet strike. Silvinho could be the man, Henry could be the man, Grimaldi is square, Keown's in there, Ljungberg's in there. And there is a crowd scene on the line.
The decision is whether to just stroke it wide because Keown and Grimaldi's pulled out of it now. Ljungberg's left on his own. But that's about nerve.
Henry! Clock end.
Very hard though, isn't it? Everybody's within 8 yards of him, whatever you say. And the keeper, is when he's about to hit the keeper, he's almost on him. You watch this, keeper's almost at him. It takes a lot of nerve, but I just wonder, I think 9 times out of 10, more than that, they'd do that. Here's the back pass. I think he's a little bit fortunate to be given that, Arsenal. I think the lads actually sliced it.
And the goalkeeper did well. It's a bit like a short corner in hockey, with the goalkeeper charging off the line like that, and the defenders, and the striker has a very limited period to get his strike away. Timoshuk for Zubov. Early ball in, the flag is up.
You watch how quickly they get forward. They are a very, very good side coming forward. And at the moment, they're a very good side defending. He's off. Yeah, he's off. Good decision. Little touch. I think they might have put them off a little bit.
On towards Kanu. Popov away from Wiltor. There's just less cohesion about Arsenal at the moment, and Atelkin is offside again. There can't have been a great deal in it. Keown just about stepped up.
Did appear to be moving while the ball was in flight as well, Martin Keown.
Ljungberg. Dixon. Luzhny. This will hurt him more than anyone else as a proud Kiev man. Vieira. Henry. Vieira has gone down. Where was it?
He's looking for the linesman. He looked for the linesman, the referee there, you know. I think if the linesman had stuck his flag, the linesman didn't want to know on this side. He may very well be right. He's played it. He's gone for the return.
It's Starostiak with the challenge.
He was outside the box, but the referee took a long, hard look at his linesman who just turned away from it.
Now Henry has hit the bar from here once. 6 minutes before half-time. How much Arsenal could do with a goal. Silvinho is the left-footed option.
Look again, a little square ball to Vieira. Vieira would have a full shot, but he's encouraged. He thinks he can go yard under.
Henry didn't it for him.
Well, that was closer in, wasn't it, than the other one? And sometimes it's harder. I've seen Beckham's talking this week about the closer they bring him in, it's harder for him to get the ball up and down over the wall. And that was certainly, I would have liked to see him disguise that a little bit and play it square to Vieira.
Goal news from elsewhere in Group B. From the Olympic Stadium in Rome, it's Lazio 1, Sparta Prague 0. Simone Inzaghi, who scored in Donetsk last week. That going according to expectation. And this not doing so, nor is the table about to be turned. Henry had begun his run, in the assistant referee's opinion, just too soon.
And the assistant referee spot on. We had a good view of that, actually, and I thought he was right then, and he was. Just looking at the new shape that they've got now, Arsenal, with the three front players on. Well, they might need something else now. As they're about to say. I would wonder how they would be. All right, Henry's being forced wide sometimes. Wiltord goes wide, but they go wide naturally anyway. Whether there's any mileage in Kanu playing a little bit deeper and getting on the ball a lot more. Seems at the moment Arsenal a bit going off here with Levetsky, but Arsenal at the moment seem a bit limited in playing a lot of straight balls now to the front players.
Oh, there's Henry going up with studs showing. It would have hurt Levetsky that. Really charged up Thierry Henry, perhaps overly so. The Lithuanian international very understandably getting plenty of treatment. The goalkeeper, Wirt, came out and had his say on the whole issue, and oddly was booked. You would have thought that Henry did well to get away without a yellow card himself.
But
for the original
very, very fortunate.
It wasn't a pleasant one. Wiltord, Vieira, Kanu. Vieira's kept on going and is closest to goal. Dixon is overlapping. It's Dixon's ball in. It's Henry. Cross into no man's land between striker and keeper, and Henry kept on going and clashed with Wirt.
Slick move, Kanu. Dixon's in out of his feet, one touch, a ball, lots of bodies in the box. I think he's very unlucky to be penalised for Henry. His feet are up, so are the keepers, and you have to say that Henry's going there. He thinks there's a reasonable chance of a goal.
That is a young pup who's been angered, and there is a goalkeeper, Yuri Wirt,
who's played a major part in keeping his team in. He made two vital saves at big times. Still feel, Peter, that Arsenal, if they dropped Kanu back 10 yards or so, and let him play as, if you like, as a link striker, get him on the ball plenty, and let the two French lads Wiltord and Henry do the front running. They'd be far more effective here.
Arsenal 2 down, having inconvenienced Wirtz so much, first from a deflected Bakarev free kick, and then from Vorobier's neatest of finishes, and that having dominated the first quarter of the game. Heading towards half-time now, really in crisis mode. Dixon was calm enough. Kanu. Foul by Shevchuk.
They look very decent early on, Shakhtar, but now they've got that new belief from the lead. And the fact that well, I said I don't think they deserve to be winning, but they certainly played well enough.
Kanu. Behind Ljungberg and Henry. Massively frustrating for Arsenal. Bakarev. Zubov. Bakarev. Good tackle by Vieira. Still came to Vorobier. Out by Grimondi. Vieira. He's charged for himself and Popov has held him up.
He's off.
He's had a yellow. He's got another yellow. He's got a red. They're 2 goals up. They're 1 man down. And the skipper is departing.
And rightly so. That was absolute cynical. Vieira spotted the fact that they're trying to play an offside trap. He's going to go it alone. He lifts it through them. And Popov made sure. Well, he can now. He's living up to his name now. He's popped off. I mean, he's done that on several occasions. Been a little bit clever, a little bit cynical with 1 or 2 of his challenges. He rightly paid the penalty for it.
Do you know, this could be a very good second half. Arsenal chasing it against 10 men.
I think the first half's been terrific. I mean, unfortunately, the scoreline, if you're an Arsenal fan, doesn't sound too promising, but the game's been good enough. I think they've got into that habit, though. They've got so many players in a straight line up the middle, Arsenal.
That's the old Kanu. Henry's going in there. There was a shove and a push and a pull of a shirt and a little bit of afters, and there's going to be a card.
Keown in an offensive position. They've just got desperate. As I say, sometimes, you know, when you stick players up the field, that's where there's a little bit of shirt pulling going on. Henry's got to be a bit careful, though. He looks as if he's a little bit of a head of steam coming out of him. But as I say, sometimes when you stick 3 players in a cluster up the middle, you try to hit them too early, and you don't. Early on, Arsenal were making some great little passes, threading through balls. Whereas at the moment, they're just hitting longish straight balls into players that have got a cluster of white shirts around them.
Out by Glavetskas.
Looking at it now with them a man light, with Shakhtar a man light, you know, they're still, Ljungberg still pushing into the middle. I think they've got to come out and give themselves some width now. Use their extra player in wide areas so they can stretch the Shakhtar team.
There'll be 3 extra minutes, of which we've already had 1 minute and 3/4.
Another one.
Another yellow card, this time against Timoshuk. That's 4 yellows on top of Popov's 2. 6 yellows and a red in total. Viktor Prokopenko had a draw at Old Trafford a few years back with Rota Volgograd that took his side through against Manchester United. This would be equally famous. This is Lee Dixon, though, for Arsenal. Dixon's ball in. A tug on Wiltord, a penalty for Arsenal. 2.5 minutes into stoppage time. At the end of the first half, which had appeared to be on the way towards a desperate denouement.
Interesting ball, good ball in from Dixon. I'm not sure on that one whether he's ruled that Starashak has blocked Wiltord's run.
Arsenal's first penalty since Patrick Vieira hit the crossbar in the UEFA Cup final. It's Thierry Henry. moved. It's 2-1. It's Wiltor. In the nick of time at the clock end. Arsenal have a grasp on the game again.
Keeper's done well again, made it back. That's a brilliant reaction there. He's been likened to Ian Wright. That's Ian Wright all over. Great block, great tuck.
And it's half-time. What a half. What a half. And Arsenal, though they're behind, will feel that their grasp on the game is such now that the second half promises much. Bakarev's deflected free kick, Vorobier's finish, Shakhtar 2 up. Then they had their captain sent off, and deep into stoppage time, after Henry's penalty was saved, Wiltor made it 2-1. And Des Lynam and Ali McCoist will elaborate on much very shortly. Yes, the balance is terrific, isn't it? Shakhtar were installed at 11-1 against for this two-horse race, which seems to me a little crazy given what we have since seen. But they have been good enough to handicap the race now, Ron, by reducing themselves to 10 men. That being the case, how would you balance the equation? Despite the fact they're behind, they're Arsenal favourites still?
No, I'd say it's about an even money bet. Just about even money. I think a lot depends on how Arsenal use their extra men. I would certainly I'd like to see them use a wide player.
Arsenal's European record on this ground is splendid. Since they last played a European Cup game here against Benfica 9 years ago, only Borussia Mönchengladbach have come here in any European competition and won. Shakhtar Donetsk were not expected to do so. Ljungberg's trying to go in there. Bakarev prevented him from shooting. The clearance reaches Telkin. And Dixon waves it wide to Kanu.
I just wonder how fit Ray Parlour is, because at the moment Freddie Ljungberg hasn't done an awful lot out there. He's run around and hasn't really made too much happen. Had a good chance early on. Just wonder whether Ray Parlour could come down on that right-hand side and give it a little bit more width and a little bit more drive. But, you know, if he's got a fitness problem, who knows?
A couple of things to clear up for you, which have become clearer during the course of the half-time interval. Robert Pires went off with a hamstring injury. We had at first learnt, or thought we'd learnt, that it was an ankle problem, but it's a hamstring injury for Robert Pires. And as you would probably have surmised from the pictures, the referee tells us that the penalty was given for shirt pulling. That is Zubov. Keown across, came to Vorobier, who went over Luzhny's tackle just outside the penalty area, but in a position of considerable concern for Arsenal. It was outside, and it was a foul. Beaten by a deflection in the first half, David Seaman. What Arsenal can least do with now is to see the deficit reopened to 2.
That's a better idea, putting Dixon on the line.
Bakarev again is over the set piece. He is left-footed, as you saw. It's his natural angle. 5 in the Arsenal wall, plus Ljungberg just detached from it. Bakarev strike into the wall, and Bakarev again, Dixon away from that position. Actually in front of Seaman, he might have had it covered, but there was a double insurance for Arsenal.
Well, you've heard me say enough times on free kicks in that situation. I think it's imperative to put people on the line. I know all this business about they'll push in and you can't catch them offside, but such a dangerous position that for me.
Ljungberg, Dixon. Got away from Abramov, made himself half a yard and then was tugged back. Abramov, the offender. Remember when Dynamo Kiev came over to Wembley a couple of years back, Lee Dixon with one really special run down the right-hand side, and a Bergkamp header that put Arsenal in front. Martin Keown got a Champions League goal at Wembley too against Panathinaikos. Hasn't scored at Highbury since. He's in the mix. Silvinho with the free kick. Viet got something on it. Above Vieira. Swept ball from Luzhny, out by Timoshuk. Silvino is back from set-piece duties. Luzhny on the occasion of his 60th European club appearance, most of those for Kiev. Kiev. Grimondi has got a long way forward now. Faced by Bakarev, whose tackle is clean.
Still feel they're bunching a little bit too much in the middle. You know, they've from time to time they've worked little things that have nearly come off for them Arsenal, but I've got this thing now that they're making it easier for Shakhtar to defend. A little bit unlucky there, I thought. They were just going to get the little through ball there from Kanu, but didn't quite come up.
Grimondi, long and searching. Wiltor went in for it. Klevetskas got across well. Abramov straight at Vieira. Telkin went in. Arsenal have it back. Grimondi. Henry just won't come together at the moment.
Tell you what, they're flying in, or the challenges. They're not having much time to settle on the ball.
Keo, now space, Yumba. Away from Vorobye. And still Yumba. And now Kanu. Oh, wonderful track back. And Kanu! Oh! Did that deserve a goal?
We've just been robbed, I think, from the greatest goal of all time. That fellow, when he gets in the penalty box, it's like a magnet to his feet. Look at this 1-2 little drag. You keep thinking, go on, somebody must chop him in a minute. He must get pulled down for a penalty.
Oh, please go in this time.
He certainly is the one guy that doesn't mind being in confined spaces. He seems to be happier if he has to beat somebody before he does something with the ball.
Dixon. Arsenal tails up a bit now. Henry onside. Wiltor waiting. And Vieira spilt it. He did have a good half, but there were a couple of moments when his handling wasn't entirely clean.
Tell you what, Henry would have wished his first touch would have been better off that ball of Dixon's there.
Luzhny's thrusting header. Using the stick, he'll take an international training if Arsenal were to lose this game at home. Keown. Kanu. Silvino. Wiltor. Silvino's kept on going. Silvino's cross. Oh! So subtle from Henry. Just a mite too subtle.
Good little build-up down the left here between Wiltor and Silvino. A good whip first ball. I just wondered then, I'm not so sure he did try a trick on that. I just wonder whether he's trying to gather the ball. Because he's got himself, no, he's made a definite attempt to sneak it in. But that was a good break. Good movement down the left, and I think Arsenal have got to do that. They've got to double up in the wide areas and get to the last, might get balls whipped across the face.
Vieira. Wiltor. Henry. Out by Abramov, away from Ljungberg. It's funny, Arsenal last week in Prague were really pretty functional. They were good, they were solid, and they won the game. But here they're full of flair. Kanu. But they're behind. Silvino.
And what's sometimes difficult, Shakhtar will be happier not having the game stretched. They'll be happier defending around the edge of their penalty box because it means they can keep players back there. I think if somehow Arsenal could draw them forward, they might have a better chance of scoring on a counter-attack themselves. And it's going to be all hands to the pump. They played well enough when they got in the lead, Shakhtar, and certainly at the moment they're sticking at it. They're closing down quickly. They're being resilient.
It's just very hard to see how this can't be really exciting from now on in. Wiltor, Grimondi, Silvino. Nice back heel, so clever. Even Henry wasn't quite on the same wavelength, but he wants it back now, and he's shrugged off at Telkin illegally. Infuriating moment for the young Frenchman.
I think it's a touch unlucky there. I'm not just sure Telkin didn't go down as if because he breathed down.
Foul by Abramov, quickly taken free kick. Ljungberg's onto it. Wiltor, Ljungberg struck his arm, to no avail. Dixon stepping in. Wiltor has pulled away wide. Henry has gone near post. Ljungberg's gone far post. Henry! It must come. It must come.
Well, superb break again. Puts it into the danger zone, the one that keepers don't like. Defenders have let Henry run free. You think he must score here. There's a perfect weighty ball in. He's got his touch on it. Most times in the season, he just plays those and they go in for fun. Well, that's two in the last 3 minutes.
Arsenal are rising to this challenge.
I actually think Arsenal have played quite well. I think they got caught with a little sucker punch, and from there on in, it gave the Shakhtar team a lot of belief, but there's a long way to go still.
And Arsenal still have ammunition on the sidelines, of course. Dennis Bergkamp waits. Arsene Wenger believes he's on the way back to top form now. Kanu wriggling out of a cul-de-sac.
Problem you've got with Bergkamp at the moment, with the lineup the way it is, you couldn't quite see who'd come off to fit him in. Because you look at him, the logical one you would think would be Kanu. But Kanu looks in a tight penalty box as if he's the one who might conjure some magic. You certainly dream of taking Henry off. And what's happening now, because they're in the lead and they're working on the principle what we have we hold, they've actually got more defenders back in this half than they had in the course of the game when they had a full side out Shakhtar.
Abramov, who I think is about to come off, and has been robbed by Ljungberg, and Ljungberg has played in Wiltor, who's onside here for Arsenal. Sylvain Wiltor, that's a really good save. And at his near post, Yuri Vir has shown himself to be a really very good judge of angles.
Does well here, once again questionable. I think the number two's playing you on. It's out of his feet. Where the keeper does do well, he made a put to come forward.
Henry with a looping header.
He made a put to come forward and then realised he wasn't going to get anywhere and just held his ground and waited for the shot.
On by a Telkin. Vieira. Another player who's really just solid last week in Prague, but has made an impact on the game here. Dixon, super ball inside the full-back.
But have a look at that again. Wiltor, great ball, great run. And all he saw in the middle of the box, were white shirts. I don't think it was a red shirt. He had no alternative but to have a blasted goal.
Change for Shakhtar Donetsk. It is Vitaly Abramov who is going off. And in his stead, Valery Krivensov, another Ukrainian international, though he hasn't been capped for a couple of years. A midfield player who would presumably slot into precisely the same wing-back position on the left of the Shakhtar formation. Dixon, faced by Timoshuk, got to the byline, what a corner. compelling stuff now from Arsenal. If you're going to set up a football match, you'd give the away side a couple of goals, take a player of theirs off, and then invite the favourites to chase it. Silvinho. Vitt, again, unorthodox but effective. Belted a long way in front of Vorobyev, who looked back over his shoulder and said, am I supposed to get that? And Seaman has committed himself to good effect. Telkin was imparting some pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Telkin's made the run from virtually his own penalty box to pressurise Seaman there. They're not lying down.
Nearly an hour gone at Highbury. So you're just joining us, you've missed some good stuff. Shakhtar went 2 up after Arsenal had dominated the first quarter, a deflected free kick from Bakarev. Then Vorobyev almost at once making it 2. Sylvain Wilton on the stroke of half-time followed up Henry's saved penalty to make it 1-2. That after the Ukrainians had their captain Popov sent off. And that statistic on your screen now demonstrates just how dominant Arsenal have been. They've had 18 shots at goal, 63% of possession. They trail, though, by 2-1. Foul on Kanu by Shevchuk. What am I allowed to do, ref? They won't be backward in coming forward now, Arsenal. Keown's lumbering in there, Grimaldi's in there, Vieira's a target.
I think somebody should be very wide behind the back post. He's had a tendency to overhit his set plays, Silvinho.
Silvinho in, and Grimaldi at the near post. His was not the last touch. It was the new man, Krivensov, who got up and deflected it over his own crossbar. Deeper this time, back in by Vieira. And Vitt couldn't hang on, and Canu's trying to chase it in.
Brett must have given it decision, surely.
Retrospectively, he protected the goalkeeper.
No. Once again, it's a goalkeeping error, but it seems as if there is some special protection for keepers, and he's felt the benefit of it.
He just dropped that under pressure, I'm afraid.
Definitely.
Keown, Ljungberg. Premier by Zubov. Down by Kanu. Glavetskas. Well read by Silvinho, and this guy's quick when he gets going. Kanu. One drag back too many. Zubov. Cushioned by Keown.
It's a pity they couldn't get that situation a lot more, though. Just lure Shakhtar up the field a little bit and give themselves just that little bit of extra space to play in.
Dixon. Breakdown in communications with Grimaldi. Forward by Krivensov, the flag is up against Telkin.
I like a little bit of miscontrol at the end so the ball runs further. That's very, very close. Looks well off when he receives, but it was very, very close, that one.
Lee Dixon for Arsenal. Still trailing despite everything. Long from Grimaldi. Silvinho. Wiltor. Kept it in well. And one corner. Everyone's getting shirty now. It's tense. It's very, very exciting. Silvinho. Vitt has dropped it this time and got a lucky bounce. Do you know, well, I've made the point, he's made some good saves, the keeper, but he hasn't always looked entirely secure.
No, that's an area where he doesn't look over clever. I must admit, that's two on the reel he's done that with. But he's made big saves at vital times.
Well, we saw a howler last night, didn't we, at Ellen Road? That was close to comparable, without the lashing rain as an excuse. Vieira. Timoshuk slipped, Wiltor couldn't get there. Elsewhere in Group B, in Rome's Olympic Stadium, it's now Lazio 2, Sparta Prague 0. to add to Simone Inzaghi's first half goal, a second half strike from Diego Simeone. Lazio leading Sparta Prague, who will be pointless still after 2 games if things finish that way. Grimaldi. Dixon, Kanu got up, Levetskas away, came to Grimaldi. Ljungberg. Luzhnin. Can Silvino keep it in? He can. And he slipped hit past Starostjak. Bergkamp's getting ready. Now, will it be an extra striker or a straight swap? We'll see. It's come to Wiltor, who got under it. What do you think, Wiltor and Henry and Bergkamp?
I don't think he'll take one of his strikers off. I wonder whether he'll take a back player off or put Grimaldi and add an extra attacking midfield player in Bergkamp.
He did speak yesterday, Wenger, about perhaps from time to time starting to use 2 of his strikers with Bergkamp in behind them. It's an option he has in mind. Vieira, Henry, Kanu.
If he wants to retain a similar shape, I think Kanu would have to be the one to go. But Kanu in a crowd scene, has been in the penalty box, he's always got that ability to manipulate. I know he hasn't scored this season, but he's threatened enough times tonight.
Here's the change, it's Ljungberg going off. And Dennis Bergkamp coming on for what is his 200th first-team appearance in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, they can, with the extra man in their favour, they can afford to a certain extent to dispense with a midfield player and throw your extra attacker on. Particularly if Bergkamp plays where he looks as if he is at the moment, just in a midfield position where he's going to get plenty of the ball.
That is the first impression, certainly. Bergkamp from deep. Wiltor. Dixon.
The one thing you know about Bergkamp is whatever else he loses or doesn't lose, he's still got cunning.
Bergkamp. Kanu going in there, and Witz spilt it again. And although he was hit by Kanu, he can have no element of surprise that Kanu slid in at that loose ball. Just didn't fall right.
It may have been better. We talk a lot about Kanu having these massive long legs. It may have been better, if that had fallen to one of the shorter players, the more nimbler players. Some good work by Bergkamp, though, with his first real contribution to the game.
Henry. And again from Wiltor. And nearly out to Bergkamp. Vieira attempting to win it back. This is going to be harum-scarum. This is good. I reckon next week's Champions League offerings on ITV could be the tastiest so far, though. Tuesday, 10 o'clock, highlights. PSV, Manchester United, Leeds against Besiktas. And then on Wednesday, live, 7:30, Dixon's cross, and out by Zubov, and away by Shakhtar. Wednesday live, 7:30, back here at Highbury. It is Arsenal against Lazio. And in Scotland, Galatasaray Rangers. That is all next week. Some very good-looking fixtures there. Details of which on www.itv-football.co.uk. And a very, very presentable fixture here too. Bergkamp has made an impact.
If any of the games are as good as this, then we'll see some smashing stuff then. Because this has got virtually everything, except at the moment, and that was a long way off, it's an Arsenal equaliser. Possibly for the first time since they took the lead, and understandably so, I just sense these little signs now that maybe Shakhtar are just maybe wilting a little bit, which would be very understandable.
Now by Bergkamp on the Valery Kriventsov. Starostyak. Now Vieira, long-leggedly and purposefully, and through here for a Wiltor. And Viet came, and Cano is onto the loose ball, and Wiltor is in there.
It's offside.
Is offside. You might be surprised at that, but of course the thinking is that the goalkeeper was ahead of him, so there was only the defender between him and the line.
Yeah, beautiful ball, goes in strong. Once again, keeper brave as a lion. And you thought then that maybe Cano was going to produce one of those particular pieces of magic that he makes his own copyright. Doesn't quite come off. Another change.
And the player withdrawn is the scorer of the first goal, Alexei Bakarev. A goal he scored with an element of help from Robert Pires, whose back it hit on the way in, midway through the first half. So he has played a major part. It's a night he won't forget. His replacement is an interesting figure, Alexei Bielik, only 19, the big coming star of Ukrainian football, who was the hero of a great under-18 championships they had in Germany during the course of the summer, which they got to the final, lost to France. France are winning everything these days. Lost to France in Nuremberg. Bielik actually missed the final after being sent off against Holland in the semi.
Very positive move at this stage, though, to throw another striker on. What it looks as if he's going to do is play with his original strikers, Atalkin and Vorabier. It looks as if they're going to have to work wide. Bielik staying up the middle.
So 20 minutes to play.
The reason so, Arsenal really will have to come through the middle. They're trying to block off the flanks, so they can't get to the flanks now. Shakhtar. Good tactics.
Dixon. Bergkamp takes that sort of ball so well, and fed Wiltor. It's a corner. How much more pressure do Arsenal have to impart before they reap a harvest? The goal just before half-time just tipped the balance. Their 9th corner.
What about this back to Dixon instead of just laying it in? Oh, well.
Silvinho's ball in, and Viet punched uncertainly, and Dixon has it now, and Dixon has shot, and Viet has pulled off a really wonderful reaction save.
Well, he's Jekyll and Hyde, the keeper, and he looks awful when the ball's bobbling about in the air, crosses and everything.
It's one for the cameras, isn't it?
Ah, that one, yeah. And the one before, the punch out. I just wonder whether Arsenal could have varied the corner a little bit. They've got so conditioned to loading balls in under the bar.
Silvinho again, poor one this time. Lushny's onto it. Wide again for Silvinho, faced by Timoshuk. Lushny has kept on going. Best he can hope for is a corner. He's got a corner. 10 corners to nothing in Arsenal's favour. It's going to be held up for a while because Atelkin, who's been a lone striker really in the second half, has run himself to the point of cramp. He's a player who came through with Sergei Rebrov at Donetsk. He's a player who's struggling for fitness now. Lushny's corner. It's come out to Silvinho. Headed from Keown. Oh, he did well to get that through a crowd of players.
Twisted swivel, but I just wonder if that's going to be the order of the night. Goes right down at the keeper's feet, the ball. Good snap header. I do feel that Arsenal could show a little bit more variation on the set plays, though. They've got the Shakhtar defence conditioned to everything under the bar. Something a little bit cute, a little bit clever. A drag back to, say, Dixon might just be the unexpected thing that unhinges them.
Starostyak. Tackled by Vieira. On by Silvinho. Cushioned by Cano. Out by Grimandi. Forward from Silvinho. Then from Vieira. Now from Bergkamp. Lovely this from Arsenal. Really smooth. Here's Henry. Wiltor around the back. Dixon! Did it cross the line? Dixon is convinced it has, and he wants a word.
Well, the ref's given a corner.
There's the answer.
Sorry, the linesman's given a corner. Great pace there. Threads it in. You think, who's catching up? Dixon.
Oof, he just about scooped it out. Frank Schumacher on the line. The referee's assistant wasn't going to give it. Bergkamp. Luzhny. Silvinho. Vieira. What's the next idea for Arsenal? Kanu. Keown is playing at left wing. It's come to that. Is that okay as well? Vieira. Fouled by Vorobyev. And Bergkamp's on now.
Actually, when the ball's threaded through to the left-hand side, expect to see Silvinho racing up to whipping it in. There's the one. That's a great ball in. And he's done very, very well, Dex. Inconclusive. The keeper looks to be diving back in the net, but... And the linesman would have had a much better view than us of that, because he was virtually dead in line looking in at that. But, as you say, Bergkamp's back. He's not round the ball.
He's not round the ball, no. Silvinho is closest to it.
What about Dixon? Little cunning ball down the side. Now Dixon's gone in block now.
It's Silvinho or Wiltor. It's Silvinho.
That's no. That's awful. That is awful. That's an apology.
We're going to have another look at this effort from Lee Dixon here, Ron. Vitt kept it out, or that is the assumption. Now let's see it really slowly. I think it's a good decision.
I think he saved it. Yeah. I mean, that's where the confusion comes in. He's finished so far in the back of the net, the keeper.
Henry. Bergkamp. Luzhny. Thunderous challenge by Starostjak at the back of Kanu, but it came to Silvinho. Bergkamp's made a good run here and is offside. 13 Arsenal games since he last scored for them.
Tell you what, he's harsh there, harsh decision that. He was actually dead level when the ball was knocked.
Telkin, who has run out of steam, is on his way off. And this is Sergei Kovalyov, yet another international who didn't start the game. He's just returning from injury. Viktor Prokopenko spoke of him last night in glowing terms. He got injured, explained the manager, in preparation for Ukraine's World Cup qualifier against Poland the other week, and this is his first major appearance since. Less than a quarter of an hour to play. To be honest, any fresh legs will do for Shakhtar now, because it's 10 men behind the ball, effectively. Maybe 9 and 1 up to be charitable. Silvinho. Zubov. Grimaldi away from Bielik. Oh, Bergkamp touching it on, and then getting a second go. Levetskas up in the air.
I think we could qualify that remark, though, about them having 9 men up behind the ball. They've been forced there. I think they've been quite a positive side, but they've been forced there because Arsenal have put so much pressure on. And Arsenal must have 9 forwards on the field at the moment.
At least. Silvinho. Took Zubov out of it with a clever feint. And then delivered for Kanu. It came there for Bergkamp. Kovalyov ran into Grimaldi. Henry's won it back, faced by Timoshuk and by Starostjak. He's not about to give up. He's given away a free kick and he ought to be careful.
Yeah, he's on a short fuse, Jerry.
Incidentally, it's all up in Rome. 3-0 now for Lazio over Sparta Prague in Group B, also this group. And Simone Inzaghi has his second goal of that game. Diego Simeone scored the other. Rangers, by the way, are still 1 up in Monte Carlo. Van Bronckhorst with a first-half goal there. Bielik took that well. Vorobyev. Zubov. Two bobs hit. Pretty close.
When it was late squirt to him, he shaped it, hit it. I thought, you haven't got the audacity to hit that. And I'll tell you what, that is some ping. I'm not too sure the keeper knew much about that.
Panicky clearance by Krevensov. Keogh. Grimondi. Silvino, wonderfully well taken. Silvino's cross. And put behind by Shevchuk.
Well, percentages say they should get... I can't remember one of the corners, and they've had plenty of them, where they've actually had anything out of it. A strike at goal or a near header that's...
Silvino's delivery again. In by Grimondi, bouncing about all over the place, and you start to wonder, with 10 minutes, slightly more to come, whether it is going to be one of those for Arsenal. And however unlucky you would perceive this to be, it would be an awful result. They have 10 minutes to put it right. Lazio are here next week. A couple of weeks after that, Arsenal go to Rome. This was a must-win.
Well, I don't say that. I don't think it's a must-win. I think if they get a point out of it, now, they willingly take a point now. You know, and then you start to look at it psychologically and say, hey, we won last week away from home. So 4 points on the board. But as you say, if they come out of this empty-handed, this will be a massive result.
Luzhny, Wiltor. Luzhny. Up by Starostia. Luzhny got lucky there. Bergkamp. Wiltor. And you can see, it hardly needs saying, that Shakhtar now do have everyone behind the ball. Keown. Kanu. Keown. Anywhere will do. It's a crick in the neck job now. Everything is one way. Silvino. Luzhny. Vieira. Keown. Bergkamp. He's got between them. Bergkamp! The net rippled from the wrong side. On the north bank, they thought they'd scored.
I must confess, I thought he had. Ball's threaded into him, he holds on it, a little bit of magic. Goes between the two. Little short backlift, you think he's done it? But he hasn't. It's still the battle of Rorke's Drift, the Alamo, and all the other things you can mention come into play here.
Keown. Dixon. Vieira. Vieira. Jurjevic, what a game he has had. Black and white and very little grey area. Some extraordinarily unorthodox saves, some inexplicable spillages. Silvino. Kanu. Vieira. Bergkamp pushed a little wide. Last off Borovier. Another Arsenal corner.
Just a little variation here for Lee Dixon.
Grimondi above Keown. Dixon in there. Silvino from deep again. Keown. More or less a centre forward now. Wiltor. Away from Keown, won back by Wiltor, away by Timoshuk, picked up by Vieira. And Vorobyev has no interest at all in gathering possession.
Well, all they do now, they know there's nowhere else to go. They just sit, knock it forward, and stay back and wait.
Luzhny. Silvino. Where is there a chink in the wall? Dixon. Stolen away from Keown by Timoshuk. Luzhny leaping the challenge. Arsenal's throw. Everything's done in a hurry now. Kanu. Vieira. Bergkamp. Dixon. Dixon. Roof of the net. Anyone now is a potential scorer.
Well, it's like bagatelle there, isn't it? It's hit ping pong, hitting this, hitting that.
Silvino's corner. Yes! Keown wants it. Arsenal have it.
Incredible. All they wanted equaliser. Keown scrambled it over. A better corner, by the way. Varied it, got it accurate, more accurate at the near post. Didn't float over harmlessly. Little touch. Keeper's done one of his Harry Parries into the net. But the interesting thing for me was Henry's reaction. He wants the ball. Was there a suggestion of handball from Keown? But Henry grabs the ball, puts it straight on the centre circle.
From Arsenal's 15th corner, their 30th attempt at goal, and finally their equaliser. And they're in trouble at the other end now, with Seaman going down at the near post to deny Vorobyev. Now can they win it? Kanu. Grimondi. Bergkamp going in. Out by Krivensov. Timoshuk. In by Dixon. Oh, that was Rosjak, was it, with the last touch? It was. That was close to an own goal. Corner number 16, in search now of an Arsenal winner. Henry's delivery, poor one. Out by Kovalyov. Silvino. Henry. Vieira. Wiltor. Bergkamp's behind him by way of support. It is Dennis Bergkamp. Kanu, clever. Important that Arsenal kept the ball there. Luzhny. Grimondi. Kanu. It's a game Arsenal deserve to win. Silvino. Oh, Dixon's been poleaxed, and they could do with him now. Kovalyov. Against Luzhny, it's a Shakhtar Donetsk throw.
Yeah, they've still got to be careful. Arsenal, they've pressed, they've charged forward, but they're still going to have discipline at the back. A draw isn't the worst result they can get out of this now.
We've spoken so often over the last couple of years about how badly Arsenal have been hit by last-minute goals against. What about 1-4 now? Bergkamp's going in, Krivensov away. Kanu to the near post, Keown's in there too. Bergkamp's corner. Vieira's come, and Vieira's lost it. And Vieira again has been protected by the referee. And again, is clutching a part of himself. It's been a Tomaszewski performance from him.
I thought you were going to say a Tom and Jerry performance.
Well, it's sort of been cat and mouse.
As that ball's in flight, see the defender with Cano. He'd been hanging on to him all the way through that corner.
"89 minutes and counting. Cano. Henri. That's a disappointment. Everything has to count now.
I think if it stays like this, you know, what the Arsenal take out of it is, hey, we were 2-0 down, and at least we could have won 20, but at least we've pulled back and we haven't got beaten.
Bergkamp. Wilton. Dixon. 3 extra minutes. Dixon's got 3 here. Shevchuk now back to cover the penalty area. Dixon needs half a yard for a cross. Dixon delivers a cross. Levetskas shinned it out. Added time. Grimondi. Silvino. Bergkamp. Corner. Shevchuk was the defender closest to Bergkamp. Just good, raw excitement. Silvino again, Vert away. He is getting something on most of them. Wiltor. Keown. Dixon, shaped as if to shoot. Silvino. Cano. One more trick maybe. Cano. Keown! On its head! It's a real Arsenal man at the real home of Arsenal who has turned it round for Arsenal. Martin Keown, a minute and a half into stoppage time. 2-0 down, 3-2 up.
The class of Cano. Clever little ball in from Silvino, holds the defender up. Calm enough to pick his head and pick a pass. Keown never misses from there.
Give us a cuddle.
Do you think he'll stay up front and try and get his hat-trick, or make sure they win 3-2?
It's easy to say now, but you kind of felt it at half-time. Very easy to say. Arsene Wenger might not have felt it, but boy, it feels good now for Arsenal people. What a terrifically entertaining night we've had.
Yeah, we've had enough entertainment. It's killed the game off time now.
Yeah, pull the curtains.
Keep the ball.
Well, they can only get 35,000 in here, fewer in number, but greater in happiness. Hasn't been that noisy a night, actually. A bit nervous, but one of their own has done it, and in a sense, there's a kind of symbolism about all that. So much fuss made about it being back at Highbury. It's right that Martin Keown should be the hero of a memorable night. It's an Arsenal smile. He hadn't scored at Highbury for 4 years prior to this, and then he got 2 in the last few minutes of a European night. It will take a long, long, long time to forget. On the North Bank at the clock end, the cry is Keown. This after Bakarev and Vorobyev there had established a 2-goal lead for Shakhtar. Wiltor had pulled one back before the break, and then Arsenal knock, hammered on the door for the duration of the second half. And finally, twice, it was opened to Martin Keown. It finished Arsenal 3, Shakhtar 2, it's Lazio next, and after the break, it's Des Lynam and Ali McCoist.